Hi, my name is Lisa Montgomery, writer at herheartforgod.com. Have you ever heard someone talk about the curse on Eve or the curse on the woman? I certainly have many times. How many curses were there? Were there 3 or 4 or 10? Some Jewish Talmuds have 10 curses proclaimed on Eve because of this one text in Genesis. But actually, when you look at the text, there are only 2 curses. There's a curse on the serpent, and then there's a curse on the ground because of what Adam did. There is no 3rd curse. There is no curse on the woman, nor was anything cursed because of her. So why is that? Why wasn't the woman cursed? Weren't there 3 transgressors? The serpent, the woman, and the man? Well, yes. Why not 3 curses? I'll take a look at the text and try to just come up with a reason as to why that is. I mean, these may be extrapolations based on details of the text, but I'm doing this exercise for fun. And so I've come up with 3 possible reasons to explain why there was no curse on the woman, nor was anything cursed because of her. The first possible explanation would be the complementarian answer. That since Adam, even before the fall, had a special authority given by God to lead, to be the leader, that Adam is blamed for the fall because he was supposed to be leading the woman and he failed to do so. This interpretation is based on inferences from the text, however. The text does not say anywhere that man had authority over the woman, or he was to rule over the woman, or lead her. They draw inferences from the fact that the man was created first. But where in the Bible does it show that God shows preference to the firstborn? Didn't God have a preference for Abel over Cain? And didn't he choose Jacob over Esau? And didn't he love Joseph more than all of his older brothers? God seems to have a pattern of not choosing the firstborn. And so I don't think that men had a special authority given by God over a woman. I think that's completely a consequence of the fall. He told the woman, your desire will be to your husband and he will rule over you. It's a consequence of the fall. It's not God's beautiful plan. In Genesis 1 and 2, we see the equality of men and women. God created mankind in his image. In the image of God, he created them. Man and woman, he created them. And we see their complete equality. And he set both of them to rule over creation. And he called both of them to multiply. There is no differentiated gender roles that are talked about in Genesis 1. We have their complete equality in authority over creation, and authority of man over woman isn't talked about. And in Genesis 2, the woman comes from man to highlight their need for communion, companionship. And it highlights that they are of the same essence. And Adam exclaimed, finally, bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. She will be called woman, for she was taken out of man. It denotes their unity and equality. And the woman is called by God the ezer kenegdo of the man, the helper that is suitable for him, his vis-a-vis. They're in front of one another. They complement one another. And the woman being the helper, it's like God being the helper of Israel. It's not talking about subordination, but it's talking of a place of strength, someone with strength that's coming to the rescue of someone. It's talking about their equality. And so I don't think that the complementarian interpretation that man was giving authority over the woman even before the fall is valid. I don't see it in the text at all. I see the opposite being stated quite clearly. But then we still have to explain, how is it that Adam is blamed for sin entering the world. Eve ate first, but Adam is blamed. In Romans 5, Paul quite clearly blames the entrance of sin into the world on one man, on the one man, Adam. We can read in Romans 5:15, but the gift is not like the trespass. For if the many died by the trespass of one man, how much more did God's grace and the gift that came by the grace of the one man, Jesus Christ, overflow to the many? So the sin was put on Adam. And I have two possible reasons for this. The first is that the command was given to Adam in the singular. The command was given to Adam when he was in the garden alone. The woman hadn't been created yet. And God told Adam in the singular not to eat of the tree. And when the serpent addressed the woman, when she quotes the command, she misquotes it. Instead of it being in the singular, it's now in the plural. They must not eat of the fruit. And it's not the fruit of the tree of knowledge and good and evil. It's the tree in the middle of the garden. And it's not simply that they cannot eat it, but now they must not even touch it. And so, did Adam not teach the command exactly as it was laid out by God to Eve? Did he fail to teach her properly? Or did she misunderstand? Or was this a completely reasonable interpretation of the law, a midrash of sorts? I mean, we don't know. But the command was given in the singular. And we see when God speaks to Adam, he repeats that he told Adam in the singular not to eat of the tree. God said to the man, "Because you listened to your wife and ate fruit from the tree about which I commanded you, you must not eat from it. Cursed is the ground because of you. For painful toil you will eat food from it all the days of your life. It will produce thorns and thistles for you, and you will eat the plants of the field by the sweat of your brow, and you will eat your food until you return to the ground, since from it you were taken." God told him, "I commanded you, you must not eat from it," in the singular. God reinforces that, "I told you, Adam, not to eat of it." And so possibly the woman wasn't commanded not to eat of it. Maybe it did apply to her, but not told directly in the text. So maybe Adam is blamed more because he broke the command given to him, whereas Eve did not break a command that was directly given to her by God. There's a difference in the degree of responsibility between the two because they didn't equally receive the same command. And the other possible explanation that goes along with this is that the woman was deceived. And she was deceived, whereas the man wasn't deceived. And we see this in 1 Timothy 2, 13 and 14. Paul talks about the woman. It wasn't the man who was deceived, it was the woman who was deceived and became a transgressor. And so yes, Eve was culpable for eating the fruit or for giving the fruit to Adam. But she was deceived. And we see that in her interaction with the serpent. Like, she misquoted the command. And she couldn't see this deception of the serpent that was twisting the words of God. Perhaps because she hadn't received the command directly by God. She was more prone to deception in this case. And so I ask you, what is worse? Let's say killing someone by accident, like manslaughter, or killing someone with intent and premeditation. Obviously, killing someone with intent is worse than killing someone by accident. Both are wrong. It's just they're willfully disobeying is worse. And so Adam's crime, Adam's disobedience, it was worse than Eve, who was deceived. And Eve confessed that she was deceived. She said, "The serpent deceived me, and I ate." And since we have the affirmation in the New Testament that Eve was deceived, we can see that this is a truthful assessment of what was going on. And so Adam was more culpable in this action because the command was given to Adam in the singular. He was present the whole time the woman was having a dialogue with the serpent, and he didn't intervene or say anything, or he didn't stop the woman from eating of the fruit. And when the woman handed him the fruit, well, he ate without any question. And so all these seem to point that Adam was more culpable for this transgression. And I think that because Adam was more culpable, that is why we don't see an equivalent curse given because of the woman. The serpent was cursed for what he did, and the ground was cursed for what Adam did. Again, on the note of complementarian interpretation, Adam was addressed for his own sin, and Eve was addressed for her own sin. And God gives a judgment on both of them separately. So this idea of man being held responsible for Eve's action doesn't stand. Eve was held responsible for her own actions, even though she was deceived. So there you have it, just a little reflection on why nothing was cursed because of the woman. Actually, a blessing was given to the woman through her offspring, through Jesus Christ. And that's a beautiful thing, is that we see God's grace given to Adam and Eve. Even though they transgressed, God did not kill them immediately. He endured with them patiently, and he provided the means by which they could be redeemed. And that's the most impressive thing of this story, is that God provides for our redemption. So if you like this video, please hit the subscribe button and go check out my website at herheartforgod.com. Thank you. Bye.